Hi everyone, welcome to week 3. So we are, almost halfway through the term, believe it or not. So this week we're going to actually switch gears, and instead of talking about the physical environment like we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, we're going to turn to the biotic environment, so the living component. Before we get into everything, I do have a reminder. So your milestone 1 assignment was due on Sunday. For those of you that did not submit it yet, you have until this Sunday midnight to submit it with a 10% late penalty. I will be grading them today, and for those of you that don't get a perfect score, which the majority of you won't, please read through the feedback that I provided. Okay, so that feedback, I'm trying to help you get the maximum score on your final project. So try to make those corrections this week while it's still fresh in your mind. I will also allow you to resubmit your milestone 1 with the corrections. Just for additional feedback, okay? So it doesn't result in any grade change, but if you want me to review the changes that you've made, and let me, so I can provide you with whether or not, those will get the exemplary score on the final project, please feel free to do so. Just submit it under the normal assignments heading, and I will find the revisions in there. So those need to be in by Sunday midnight as well, just because I want to get through all of milestone 1 this week, so that next week we have another milestone. So I want to concentrate on the next one next week. Okay, so any revisions, go ahead and submit them in the assignments folder. Again, does not result in a grade change, but it will result in additional feedback, okay, which will help you on your final project. All right, so let's get into this week. So we're going to, again, get into module 3. So that has to do with the biotic environment. So we're going to take a look at adaptations, okay? So those are due to our genetics. So we're going to focus in on how our traits are inherited through our parents and our parents' parents and so forth. And then over time, certain traits tend to do better in environments, in the current environment, than others. And so those traits we'll see become more common in the population through the process known as natural selection. And over time, these traits, as their frequency changes throughout time, that can lead to evolution. So we're going to talk about that this week. Okay, so always a good idea to start out with the introduction. So by the end of this week, you should be able to compare how plant and animal distributions are influenced by temperature, as well as explain the central tenets of the theory of evolution, including the importance of genetic change. So when we think of evolution, we're just thinking how populations change over time through their genetics, okay? We'll also explain why photosynthesis is important in understanding life on Earth, as well as discuss ways that body size imposes constraints on the evolution of organisms. And then finally, we're going to learn about endothermy versus ectothermy and their costs and benefits. Okay. So let's get into the overview. So again, this week we're going to switch gears. We're no longer going to focus in on the physical aspects of the environment, but we're going to shift our focus to the biotic aspects. So we're going to first learn about adaptation in chapter 5, and then we'll get into plant adaptations in chapter 6, followed by animal adaptations in chapter 7. So those are the required resources. So you're going to be reading 3 chapters this week. So again, chapter 5 kind of summarizes our realm of inheritance and how that leads to adaptation. And then chapter 6 with the plant adaptations, and then chapter 7 animal adaptations. And then we just have 2 additional resources this week. You have a video on photosynthesis, so that will help you kind of makes sense in a visual realm, or visual perspective of chapter 6 with the plant adaptations, particularly with how plants can deal with saving water, avoiding excess transpiration, which is how they water evaporates off of their leaves. So holding that in. So a lot of plants have adaptations to deal with that. So those two categories, we have CAM plants and C4 plants. Okay, so you'll learn about how they can close their stomata, which are these little pores in their leaves. And then the article that you're going to be reading this week will help you with your discussion post. Okay, so it has to do with ecto and endothermy. So talking about basically the dinosaurs, they were perhaps endothermic, and then also what ectothermy was in dinosaurs as well, and then the current hypotheses surrounding them. Okay, so you use that to help you address the content of chapter 7 as well as your discussion post. So you just have 2 activities this week, so we'll take a break from the milestone if you've already completed it. So the first activity is your discussion post. So that discussion post, again, is based on that article, hot-blooded or cold-blooded. And so you're going to basically respond to this question. How would you respond to someone who claims that mammals are more advanced than lizards? So you're going to basically take a stance. Are mammals more advanced than lizards? Are they not? Are lizards more advanced than mammals? Are they equal? That kind of thing. So you're going to take a stance, which is going to be your opinion part, but then you have to back it up with evidence. Okay, so pieces of evidence from the article as well as your chapter reading will help you answer that. Okay, so that's the initial post that is due by Thursday midnight. And then you'll need to choose 2 peers posts to respond to. Remember, those posts need to add to the discussion by including additional research for full credit. So those response posts are due by Sunday midnight. And then you have your module 3 quiz. So we have 3 chapters covered, and so you should have 15 questions associated with it, 5 for each chapter. So if you don't get 100% the first time, try again, okay? And feel free to use your textbook while you are completing your quiz. And then because we don't have a milestone this week, we do have an optional field exercise, which is ungraded. So in this case, you're going to take a closer look at natural selection with regards to height in humans. So you can basically just do a poll and see the heights of 20 of your friends, family, neighbors, etc. And you can kind of make a bar graph showing the distribution of heights, and then you can see if what were the top 15% of your sample, okay, and which of your friends would most likely pass their genes on to the next generation. Okay, so again, this is an optional activity if you want some extra practice with collecting data as well as displaying data in a bar graph. So that's it for this week. So again, you just have those 3 assignments. 2 of them are graded. So you have your discussion post and your quiz, and then this optional assignment, which you can work on if you'd like. Again, the discussion post and the quiz, everything is due by Sunday midnight with the exception of the initial discussion post that's due by Thursday. If you have if you have your milestone project that's still outstanding, make sure you submit it no later than Sunday midnight. If you do anything later than that, it does not count for points. Okay, that's a 95-point assignment. So if you turn it in after this Sunday, you'll receive a 0. You'll only get graded by the feedback, okay? For feedback, you won't be receiving a grade. So do make sure that if you are outstanding on your milestone 1, that you submit it this week, okay, in order to get the point value, okay? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email. Otherwise, good luck.